And continuing on with Chapter 11, The Age of Imperialism, today we're going to focus on Section 3, Europeans Claim Muslim Lands. The Ottoman Empire begins to lose its power. The empire begins to decline in 1566 through the death of Suleiman I. The Sultan Suleiman I not only brings the empire to its highest of highs, but also brings it to its lowest of lows due to the fact that he reigns for 60 years. And what enables him to reign for so long is that he does not train any possible heir to his throne. And anyone who was an heir, not only did he not train them, but he may have had them imprisoned, exiled, or even killed so that he could hold on to power as long as possible. So when he dies, there is someone who's going to take his place. However, they really don't know what they're doing because they've never been trained in how to lead an empire successfully. Some attempts are made to try and help the empire continue on and grow through some modernization movements. However, those attempts are very unsuccessful. As the empire begins to weaken more and more, some ethnic groups want to split away from the empire and gain their own independence. A few were successful in the early goings of decline. Those countries are Greece and Serbia. As the empire begins to lose countries to independence, that of course is showing that the empire is now at a weakened state. So of course the Europeans will now have the Ottoman Empire in their sights as far as wanting to take over their lands. So the empire itself, as you can see, is made up of northern Africa going over into the Middle East or South Central Asia, as well as South Central Europe as well. Some points of interest in the Ottoman Empire are the Black Sea, which is going to be the focal point for the Crimean War, because whoever owns this piece of land here on this warm weather port is going to have easy access of trade to not only Europe, Asia, but also through northern Africa. Other points of interest will be the Suez Canal, which is located just above the Red Sea, which again is going to give great trade access to both Africa, Europe, and the Middle East and Southeast Asia as well. So the Crimean War in 1853 is the war that takes place between Russia and the Ottoman Empire. Russia wants to seek out Ottoman land, particularly surrounding the Black Sea, because that's going to give them access to a warm water port, which is going to allow them access to essentially year-round trade with Europe, Asia, and Africa as a whole. Russia loses this war, and which of course again makes the Ottomans appear extremely weak. However, Russia is still eventually able to come back and to take that land, gaining that warm weather port for trade. Europeans begin to grab territory now. England gains control of the following places. India, for its natural resources, probably most important of those resources is going to be salt, and of course the huge labor population that they have. They're going to gain access of the Suez Canal, which is going to be great point of interest for international trade. The Suez Canal was originally begun in Egypt through a collaboration of the French giving the Egyptians money to build the canal. When the canal is all built, the Egyptians are not able to pay their debt off to the French, so the English move in here and they essentially take over the loan payments for the canal, thus the reason why they owned it. Persia is going to be taken over by England, and it's actually going to be split and shared with Russia as well. The main resources there are of oil and tobacco. Like we said, Russia is going to gain control of Persia. Again, their interest there is oil, tobacco, and of course access to the Indian Ocean, which is great for trading. And they're also going to gain parts of Afghanistan, which has a great resource of oil. So here's a map of what was gained by the British in taking over control of the Suez Canal. Before they purchased essentially the canal, their trade route started up here in London, England, and they would have to go all the way down around the most southern tip of Africa and then back up through the Indian Ocean to India to do trade with Southeast Asia. This is a round trip of, a one-way trip, sorry, of about 12,300 miles. With the creation of the Suez Canal and the English now possessing it, they are able to take a more direct route from London around the Atlantic Ocean, through the Strait of Gibraltar, through the Mediterranean Sea here, into the Suez Canal, out through the Red Sea, and then straight through the Indian Ocean to India, which is a one-way ticket of about 7,200 miles. So quite a huge significance that they are going to save in resources, manpower, and time for international trade.